Good morning. Thank you to our musicians for that wonderful start to our day. Good morning. My name is Morgana. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Tucson. I'm your host this morning. Hello, Zoom, and those watching later. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Let's take a short moment to get grounded, feel ourselves in this space and time as we take in a few deep breaths, breathing in peace, letting go anything. We are all a unique expression of the divine source, the one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is our life right now. If you are setting an intention to experience a happier life, better health, more abundant living, you're in the right place. Know that wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are in the right place. You're welcome here, and you are among friends. Good morning, friends. I hope all our phones are on silent, ignore, go away. Just to be sure we're not interrupted by the outside world while we are in this pleasant space. As you may or may not know, of course, before service every Sunday is a 20-minute meditation. If you haven't joined the meditation group, it is a standing invitation. All you got to do is be here. I hope you all have a copy of the bulletin this morning. Yes? Okay, very good, very good. And thank you, Maria, for making sure we have them each Sunday. There are always announcements there. I'm only going to remind you of a couple. Of course, we have Mitch with us today. And after service, I hope everyone is planning to extend their time with us and attend his workshop. There's going to be a little short break for us to have bathroom breaks, stretch your legs, and then resume back here again. Let's see, and we've got intention groups first and third Sunday. First Sunday's coming up fairly soon, and then our first lunch bunch will be September 6th at the Whole Foods Food Court. And the LGBTQ plus friends meeting the third Sunday of the month before service at 8 a.m. at Starbucks. The address is in your bulletin. After service, our practitioners are always available at the front of the sanctuary or wherever is convenient and comfortable for individual prayer. Remember, it's a gift for you and for them, so don't hold back. Let them know and give yourself that gift. Let's all read together from the front of our bulletin our vision statement. The Center for Spiritual Living Tucson is an inclusive, vibrant, spiritual community focusing on personal connection through our beliefs, principles, and practices of the science mind.
Love is why I breathe. Let me be an open channel. If love is why I breathe, let me give and receive. If love is why I breathe, let me be an open channel. Love is why I breathe. Love is why I give and then receive. Let me give and receive. Give and receive. Give and receive. If love is why, let me be. If love is why I give, let me give and receive. Since love is why, since love is why we give, let us be an open channel. Since love is why, since love is why we give, let us give and receive. Give and receive. Give and receive. Give and receive. And receive. Sing that again. Little quiet. Give and receive. Like an exhale. Give and receive. If love is why I breathe, let me be an open channel. If love is why I breathe, let me give and receive. Give and receive. Let me give and then receive. Let me give and then receive. Let me give and then receive.
Just continuing with that giving and receiving with that breath. Please join together in 3 minutes of silent meditation. The bells will lead us in. allowing the tone of the bell to just continue that vibration of love. Knowing that we come together in one love, that there is only one divine creative intelligence. It is the source, it is the beingness of life itself. And so I know that this one is expressing itself as each and every one of us, that there is no separation in the one. So each of us is the light and the love. It is the peace and the joy. It is the abundance. And it is the ever-evolving change that is that eternal one. And so we come together in this vibration of joy, celebrating our community, listening to the children playing next door, knowing that they are discovering their divine purpose. And at whatever age we are, we continue to discover our divine purpose as it unfolds before us. And so we come together this morning for that reminder. Grateful for Reverend Mitch Austin coming to visit us with his words of wisdom. Grateful for the musicians, our board, our practitioners, and everyone who says yes to being a part of this community. A part of, not apart from. And so from gratitude for everyone who says yes for this coming together for this blessed day, I release this word into the law of love and yes and more, knowing that these words are spoken, they are done, and we step into them with joy by releasing them and saying, and so it is. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, yes, my name is Sharon. My name is Sharon Whaley. I am the practitioner of the day. Good to see you all. And in your bulletin is our spiritual thought of the day. And I love that I've been reading Florence Scovel Shinn for the last couple of months. And I don't think I've gotten to this book. I got a book that has 4 books within it. So I'm on the 3rd book. So let's go ahead and I'll read this and then we'll do our affirmation. You must live fully in the now to make your dreams come true. But always be sure that you are dreaming according to the divine plan. There is a divine design of your life in your subconscious mind. So unless the divine dreams the dream, they labor in vain who dreams it. Affirm that let the divine design of my life flash into my conscious mind. Let me see clearly the perfect plan. And so that is our affirmation today. I'll read it again, and then if you'll join me. And I'll read it in 2 parts. Let the divine design of my plan of my life flash into my conscious mind. Together. Let the divine design of my life flash into my conscious mind. Let me see clearly the perfect plan.
Let me see clearly
the perfect plan. And so it is.
So it is.
So on the same law of love and yes and more, vibration of joy, it's kind of perfect. How many of us have had a hard week? It was a really hard week for me, and a lot of my friends and loved ones. And I think some of us forget to exude the same love that we do to the universe, to ourselves, internally. Talk to yourself in the third person. So this song for me, at least with experience in mental illness and health, kind of encompasses how to be kind to yourself. So while I sing this, please just imagine you're talking to yourself. It's hard to believe in a perfect ending, but that's alright. Yeah, that's alright. This prophecy might be self-fulfilling, but that's alright. Look on the bright side. I don't care about tomorrow. I now.
So deep breath, high. There's no more right. And there's no way with nobody else that I can be.
I'm taking some deep
Breaths high, at least till morning. And there's no way with nobody else that I can be.
with voices in my head, baby, trying to swallow me. But that don't bite. I'm alright. Been holding hands with so much complexity. It's alright. Yeah, we've done alright. I don't care about tomorrow. I love you right now.
So deep breaths high. There's no more running. There's no way with nobody else that I can be.
I'm taking some deep
Breaths high now.
and it's not me.
Nobody else that I can be. I'm taking some deep breaths high. There's no more running. There's no way with nobody else that I can be. High. There's no more heartaches. There's no way with nobody else that I can be with. I need to move. Anybody a physical person like you gotta move when you talk and you can't think? That's me right here. So grateful to be back and see all your beautiful faces. Thank you, Sharon, for helping me come and be here. We can't have spiritual community unless somebody shows up. So turn to somebody and say, glad you came today. If you're on Zoom, type in there, glad you came today. Because we're all inlets and outlets for the divine. We're the vocal box, we're the energy, we're the arms, we're the feet. So glad that you came today. Please stay for the workshop if you can. There are 7 types of inner critic. I know one's bad enough. You're gonna find out your top 3. I have a little easy quiz for you to take and some amazing tools. I've done this workshop for 10 years. And people are just mesmerized. So your mind might be telling you right now, but I've got to fold the laundry. No, you don't. I came all the way from California. It's not an accident. So I think you should join us today. So I understand you've been working your way through the book, The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity. And today we're on the 4th law. And I want to say something before I get into the talk, a little bit about Edwin Gaines. If you do not know, then I will be the one to tell you that she made her transition this week. I believe it was Monday. And she was a huge figure in metaphysics and in my own life. I had seen her speak on several occasions. I had been to her workshops. I bought her CD. I laughed the belly laugh I never knew I had in me with some of her stories. Anybody ever have any experience to Edwin's stories? We will revisit some of those. So it is a huge honor to be bringing her work to you today. And I'm going to bring her work to you tossed in with some Mitch-isms. So hopefully you will find that fun and exciting. And the 4th principle, the 4th law that we're working on, it's really more of a practice than anything. It's finding and living your divine purpose. Finding, and who's still looking for their purpose? Yeah. Most people are, right? And purpose is a multi-branched thing. We tend to think of purpose as one single thing, but it can be many things. It can be you singing your grandchildren to sleep at night. It can be you bringing a neighbor up high. So there's many ways that we can express our purpose, and we're going to explore some of that today. Now, one of the things that I loved most about Edwin Gaines was her sense of humor. She had a great sense of humor. So I thought I'd start off with a little joke for everybody. So there was a minister, a reverend, and a rabbi walked into a bar. Now, they didn't walk in. They were asked how they would like people to remember them at their funeral. So the minister said, I want them to say he was a righteous man. The reverend said, I want them to say she was kind. And the rabbi said, I want them to say, look, he's moving. That's good. That's all right. I'm signing up for that. So anyone ever have an energy leakage problem? Yeah, or power leakage problem. I do sometimes, some days. Like when you couldn't get enough energy to fill in the blank. You couldn't get up, you couldn't show up, you couldn't follow through, you couldn't finish the thing. Well, I believe in this teaching, we don't talk nearly enough about having power, about activating the power that's within us. Right? Because spirit, the divine, by whatever name you call your higher power, has a threefold nature, and that threefold nature is reflected in us. And we talk a lot about how spirit, the divine, God is love. We talk a lot about that. And we talk a lot about the wisdom and intelligence of the divine, that's our wisdom and intelligence. But we rarely talk about the power that is spirit, that is God, that is within us. And when we begin to activate that, that's when the limitlessness unfolds. You ever notice how you lose time doing something you really love to do? Right? You don't run out of power. You don't have a power problem. And we can't really pursue our purpose without talking about power. And that's why we're going to be talking about it as we fold in purpose. See, here's the thing. Following purpose can act as a power generator. Right? We've got to activate the power to get more done. We can have a bright idea, but if you don't have the power to do it, it just sits as a bright idea, right? So we're going to learn a little bit about how to harness this power so that we can do what we need to do, be who we need to be, and go through the journey of living our purpose. Because when we get on the journey of living our purpose, everything gets added to us, including the power and then the prosperity. So you put this into action before at some point in your life. Anybody ever have a must-have in their life? Something that you must have to do, that you knew you had to do, wasn't an option, right? Okay, good. I'm in the right crowd here. That's what yes. And somehow you found the strength, you found the time, you found the how, or the how found you, you found the money. See, that's the kind of power we're talking about that gets activated when you get on the journey of your purpose. This is not an accident. This is what happens when we show up. And so when we show up for our purpose, our mission, and make it a must-have, that's when things get exciting. And what I know is about the most prosperous people on the planet, they're powerful people, right? They don't say, I can't do this, I don't know how, I don't have the energy. They just do it, and they know it gets added. In fact, if Edwene Gaines were here right now, she would start off her talk probably with this sentence: what I want you to know about me is I am a woman of power. That's what she'd say. Anybody ever hear that? That's what she would say. Yeah. Very important to this subject. And then she would have told you what? Anybody know what she told you? She would have told you her divine purpose. And it goes like this. She says, I am 100% responsible for the transformation of the abundance consciousness on planet Earth. That's what she would say. And then she'd say, I don't have the foggiest idea how to do that. But don't we let the how so many times get in the way? Yes. Yeah. You know, she worked on this purpose for nearly 50 years. So it's really a purpose in the book that she talks about that has an infinite edge. In other words, you never arrive. And it really becomes more about the journey. You know, Edwene went from a life of living poverty, basically, paycheck to paycheck, penny to penny, to real abundance. Right? She could just respond to whatever she wanted and buy it, or she could go anywhere she wanted to go. She could make friends with anyone she wanted to make friends with. It's that kind of limitless. And prosperity goes way beyond money. Some of the most miserable people on the planet are billionaires. Mm-hmm. It's true. Because they kept chasing money as the place of happiness and empowerment. And when you get there and you find out it's a lie, isn't that depressing? Yeah. It's so much more. It's really about influence. When we can come into alignment with spiritual laws, with an intention, with a purpose greater than ourselves, that's when things get exciting. That's when all the stuff starts showing. You know, and most prosperity programs kind of stop at the first three that she taught, right? She taught about tithing, activating the law of giving and receiving. She talked about forgiveness, how all debt is actually unforgiveness. Boy, that gets in your business, doesn't it? I'm going to do some more forgiveness work when I get home. And she talks about the importance of making goals, focusing our intention in small bits as we move through our purpose. But Edwin also says that divine purpose, the fourth one, is the one that gathers up those other three and gives them somewhere to go. Somewhere to go. Because think about it. If you win the world, everything in the world is yours. But you have no one to share it with. It doesn't bring you any joy, love, or connection or meaning. It's hollow. It's nothing. Right? So she also talks about our divine purpose should bring us joy. Should make us happy. Should bring us when we're doing, we're joyful. I'm on vacation, by the way. And this brings me joy. And that's why I'm here. I remember on my birthday once, I wanted to speak. My partner asked me what I wanted, and I said, well, I want to speak at the center in my hometown. I said, I want to do a workshop. She goes, no, you don't. You don't want to work. And she talked me out of my joy. I told her. So it's not a task that you finish. It's the way you walk through the world. It's the way you walk through the world. I remember I was just at a birthday party 3 weeks ago, and I wasn't feeling good. I was tired. I went to teen camp. I took teens to teen camp, 10-hour drive. Survive. I lived to tell the story. Anyhow, I went, my friend made me come to her birthday party because she's turning 15. I couldn't tell her no. So there I am, struggling in the back by the fan, hoping nobody talks to me. And she calls me over. And I sit down and I start talking. And then we got on the subject of the Bible wisdom class I was teaching. Tiredness gone, energy. All of a sudden I'm regaling them. They all want to sign up now. But that's when you're in alignment. You step into a different dimension of being, a higher order of being. And here's the thing. You don't want the thing that's necessarily, you want it for the right reasons. You don't want it because it's going to make you rich or famous or worthy. Some of us still believe we got to earn our worthiness or a righteous person. In fact, your purpose isn't about you at all. It's about serving the collective in ways that you are divinely appointed and created for. You literally have the thumbprint of God on your soul that is unique to be expressed in this world as only you can express. And, sometimes people think, well, I cook pie well. What does that matter if I cook pie? We see it as small. Spirit doesn't see small or tall. In fact, we don't know the ripples of the pond that we're in, that we're casting to other people and how they will affect them. We can't see what God sees. Anyone know Ed Milet? Ed Milet, he's an author. He had met Wayne Dyer before he was really famous. And Wayne said, you're going to do great things. You're going to write books. And he did. He talks about all kinds of success strategies. He's really big in the world of business and corporate training. He's made millions of dollars. He was dead broke, by the way, when he met Wayne. But he knew his purpose was this. But he would have never connected with his purpose if it wasn't for someone his father met. His father was a severe alcoholic, very abusive, and Ed wasn't doing well. And then one day, Ed's father met this man who became his sponsor. And the sponsor would meet with him every day, and his dad began to heal. And because his dad began to heal, Ed began to heal. And because Ed began to heal, Ed could do this, what we would call a big work in the world. But we don't know.
where our ripples are going to go. But you do know what you love, right? Anybody not know what they love when they experience it? Like, who has something they love? Who has something they love? Shout it out. What do you love? What do you love?
My grandchildren.
You love your grandchildren. Imagine the ripples of love that you're giving them that will extend out. What do you love?
Trees.
Trees. Oh my God, trees are amazing. They're healers. They're all kinds of things. There's actually tree bathing coaches. Yes.
A little orange cat that lives in my house right
Oh.
She is a reason to live. Oh,
And weren't we all just changed?
yes.
See, that's what happens. That's what happens to us. We harness the power of influence when we step in what is ours to do. And we get to open doors, change hearts, change minds, change policies in our culture way beyond anything else we could imagine because we've stepped in for what is ours to do. You know, Edwin would tell us that we're capable of the kind of impact that Gandhi had and Mother Teresa had. Did you know Mother Teresa was like one of the most powerful people in the world? She was maybe only 5 foot. I didn't think she was 5 foot. She had a big bank account. She didn't have all these businesses. She had something better. She had influence. She could get on any plane, even if it was full. Any plane. They would kick people off her, wouldn't charge her, and fly her anywhere she wanted. That's real power.
Yeah.
Right? And she got that power not from the world. She got it from living her purpose full out. And so Edmund's point is that purpose, whatever size it comes in, it turns an ordinary life into a directed life. Into something you get out of bed for. Right? And the truth is, either we program ourselves with direction or the world will. Somebody else will, right? TV, social media, our neighbors, our family will tell us what we should do. No shortage of should do's, right? Everyone's got good advice. It's like, we all got one. And there are 4 core elements to living your purpose that Edwin talks about. She talks about making a commitment that puts the laws into action, and that's really where it all starts. She also talks about how being on purpose magnetizes you to prosperity. The book shows up, the person, the open door, and living with integrity as you journey, because the end never justifies the means. You're really here for the journey and to do it with integrity. And lastly, she says, have fun. Make it fun. Our energy rises, our heart expands. And in fact, when you're having fun, you actually retain 4 times the information, by the way. So today we're going to continue to focus on that power generator. You want to know what it is?
Sure.
What do you think it is? It's commitment. It's commitment. Commitment. Edwin says making a passionate commitment can unlock immense power within oneself. Immense power. Not little power, a lot of power. And she writes that many of us underestimate what we're capable of, by the way. But a true commitment, a decision made with your whole self, every cell of your body, regardless of what path you're on, even if it isn't clear yet, lets you exercise the potential you never knew you had. You ever get through something, you go, I can't believe I survived that. I didn't know I had it in me. Kind of like teen camp. I had a lot of steps, a little sleep. I didn't know I had it in me. And she's not talking about wishing. She's not talking about hoping it works out. The next time I hope it works out comes out of your mouth, I hope you reframe it. Seriously, I know. Edwin demonstrated moving past her fear and resistance to making a commitment. Anyone ever hear the cavern story? That was the one that made me belly laugh really hard. Because if you've ever seen a picture of Edwin, and let me just draw one for you, she looks like she always walked out of a Neiman Marcus store. Perfect hair, gold shoes. Yeah, and she was not a outdoorsy gal, let's just put it that way. And she signed up for a seminar called Pushing Through Fear and Your Limiting Beliefs in Napa many years ago. And she thought, it'll be great. We'll sit by the fire, we'll drink some Napa Chardonnay and stare meaningfully into each other's eyes and tell each other our deepest fears. That was her vision. Yeah. She gets there, they load them on a tram, they go out to the caverns to rappel 200 feet down to the bottom of the cavern. Imagine that little helmet going on her poofy hair and the harness and wearing her gold lame shoes, which are really not outdoorsy shoes, protesting and crying the whole time. Yeah.
And she was not a small woman.
No, they had a good, yeah, I mean, gravity was a problem. She'd never done this. She was freaked out, right? And then finally the instructor goes, Edwin, this is the first day of the program. If you do not do this, you won't be able to continue and you won't get a refund. All of a sudden that got her attention. And there she goes to the edge and she goes over the edge. And she said, when you go over the edge, she made a commitment. She went over the edge. That's how you demonstrate a commitment. You go over the edge. There was no going back. She had to figure it out. Apparently she lost all her spirituality as she was going out. Or she got more religious. I don't know. So she's talking about making it so deep, this commitment, that you pull resources, but also when you make a commitment, you cut away everything else that isn't the commitment, right? You know, the second part of this commitment is to speak it out loud. How many times have we had something we thought we want to do and we don't tell anybody? We're afraid to tell anyone, right? Because when we tell it to somebody, a trusted friend, it kind of puts us on the hook, doesn't it? Yeah, me it does. And she talks about a woman in one of her workshops who had an idea for 5 years she really wanted. She worked on it in her head, but she hadn't spoken it aloud. So in the workshop, she got to speak it aloud. And what she wanted to do, her divine purpose, was to get drug-addicted youth off the streets. Mm-hmm. In fact, she had even went out and researched and found a house that she could buy for $13,000. I don't know where she was. For $13,000. And so she spoke this aloud. And then there was a man in the group who said, you just described my son. He's drug addicted. My son is drug addicted and on the streets. And he wrote her a check for $13,000. What if she said, oh, it'll be too weird? What if she let her inner critic win and shut her down? How many kids would have lost out? See, that's the power of this. And here's the thing, the universe is always listening. And the power of the word gets amplified when we speak it, when we write it. And even Edwin says, verbalizing commitment amplifies its power. Speaking it aloud draws support from the universe and other people in a way that silence never will. She goes on to say also, once you've spoken it, you start receiving signals from the universe. You receive go signals and stop signals. It's like a spiritual game of red light, green light. Either way, the universe starts responding to you because you've committed, not because you figured it all out. How many times you said, I don't know what to do. I don't have the plan. I don't have the how. So we just start. You know, getting on the path to your divine purpose, the first step is enough. You know, if you travel to LA, you don't travel to LA like the whole hundreds of miles. You go 1 mile at a time. And that's all you can see. It's maybe 1 or 2 miles at a time. Same thing with our divine purpose. You know, a lot of people who teach prosperity talk about vision boards, affirmations, and those things matter. But Gaines is telling us something more physical that we can commit to itself is the power source. See, it's just not a nice sentiment, right? Commitment is just not a nice sentiment or a good idea. It's fuel. Edwin taught that not everyone will understand your choices, by the way, so be careful who you tell. Right? You want to tell the person that's going to pour into you, that's going to conspire with you, that's going to be your ride-along person. And some people may never approve of the direction your purpose takes. But she says, stay committed to the mission anyway. And if Mother Teresa were here, she'd say, because it's between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway. So Edwene insists on taking responsibility and accepting the outcomes for your choices. Because when we don't take responsibility, guess what happens? We leak our power. We give it away to someone else. So one of the most powerful things you can do to stop power leakage is take responsibility. 100%. She took 100% responsibility for the abundance consciousness on planet Earth. I think that's what made her so powerful. So you might be thinking right now, Mitch, how do I find my divine purpose? Anybody wondering? I got some ideas for you. So in their book, Edwene says, what makes your heart sing? What makes your heart sing? You lose track of time when you're doing it, or it makes you joyful. Maybe it's reading a story to your grandkids. Maybe it's petting your orange cat. Maybe it's hugging a tree. Start there and begin the journey. What is it that you get excited about? I get excited about speaking. Oh my gosh, you should see me. You don't see all the sausage making behind the screen. What do you feel called to heal, change, or transform in the world? For that woman, it was drug-addicted youth living on the street. What is it for you? And don't think it's too small. In fact, the biggest things come from small beginnings. Anybody know Toys for Tots?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it started with one woman who was sad. Some kids weren't going to get toys, so she rallied all her friends and church people, and they started gathering toys. That's where it started, by the way. And she was retired. Or ask how you can use your gifts to make a difference. My gift is speaking and teaching. So in closing, I want to come back to where we started. Anybody got power leakage problems this morning? Right? So here's where we start. We get busy working on defining what our divine purpose is. You know, in the book and on the video, Edwene says, we spend more time planning our 2-week vacation than planning our life. Isn't that true? And that really hit me between the eyes because I spent a lot of time planning this vacation. You have a purpose. It doesn't have to look like Gandhi or Mother Teresa to be done. Edwene is clear about that the size of the goal doesn't matter. The purpose of it is that with it, you are living from a space of joy and meaning. In that operating system, in that dimension. And if Edwene were here right now, here's what she would say, I think. She would say, I want you to know you are a person of power. In fact, let's all say that. I am a person of power. Ready? I am a person of power. One more time. I am a person of power. Feel how every cell feels? So I said yes to my gift of speaking and teaching. Full out. I made a commitment 3 years ago. I quit my job as an HR director, making 6 figures, incredible retirement. Just quit. Thank you. Started my business and started ministering, and I had no idea what I was going to do. Like, I just began. I went over the edge. Man, what a journey it's been. Worth every bit of it. So here's your divine assignment. Find your divine purpose and make a commitment to go over the edge. And let Spirit take you on an incredible, prosperous journey. Listen.
Question is why? Why are we here? To see all the lows and goodbyes and disappear. This beautiful life. What is it for? To learn how to masterpiece. For master. It's only one answer that matters.
as your shadow. Love is still the answer. The answer. Love, 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 we all make mistakes. No, we're not perfect yet. And the question, maybe God made us all from an accident. And the question asking, oh, everyone says, why took ourselves the answer. The answer. Love, 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 love. At the end of my days, what did I give? What did I say? There's only one question that matters. Give your heart as in shadow. Whatever you want, whatever you want, love is the answer. Love is the answer. Let's do love one more time. Love, 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 love. Love, 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 is still the answer.
Thank you all for coming today. Just a reminder, the book study, it's drop-in, so if you want to talk about your divine purpose, we're going to be meeting on Tuesday. We've had some great discussions over the last 3 weeks. So we will continue that this Tuesday, 6:30 on our Zoom. And Mitch is making his work.
What time on Tuesday?
6:30, same time. Tamara joined us from the top of Mount Lemon, so if she can do it, you can. That is like,
And then they cut me off.
well, but and that's divine purpose. That's her, like, I'm gonna be there, and so she's at the top of the mountain joining on Zoom. So
8,700 seats. That's the way to go. Zoom works for me at 8,700 people.
So, just a reminder, we do have, once we kind of reset, if you want to run over to Whole Foods and come back real quick, inner critic, and should be good. And let's see. My other announcement is we had our board meeting this week, and October is our annual meeting, and it's going to be the first Sunday. I forget the date, the 4th or something. You have a calendar. But we have a call for board members. Maria and Janet have graciously filled the gap for a year, and their commitment is Morgana is continuing to serve her term, and as I step into spiritual director, part of that is me stepping off the board. So we do have a call for board members, and to be eligible to be a board member, you have to be a member in good standing, which means you attend, you participate, you contribute your time, talents, and treasures. And the other requirement is a foundation level class. And we do have a waiver in the bylaws that if you're interested in being a board member, you have taken the membership class, because you have to be a member for 6 months. So the last class that I took, you are eligible. And then you just have to make a commitment that once we teach a foundation level class that you will take one. So that's kind of the waiver. If you're interested and you don't think you qualify, please see me, Maria, Janet, or Morgana, and we will be happy to answer any questions. So start thinking about that, planting that seed of how you want to continue to support the center, because yes, we need a spiritual director person, but the board is the foundation of the business of the center. And without a board, there is no center, there is no teaching chapter. So calling on you, you have a gift. You have a gift. And see if that is something that is calling you to support the center. And also to support the center, we do have our donation basket over there for your cash and checks, gifts, and you can always donate online. And we are going to talk about, I had somebody come up about credit cards, and we do have the credit card machine. It is portable. We just don't tote it around. We don't want it lost. And when we don't have it is when people want it. When we do bring it, nobody cares. So we're going to look at that. Just looking at that, and but we do have in your bulletin, Zelle, text to tithe, which is a 616-800-8252. On our website, there are ways to give. So there are lots of ways to give and support the center financially. Bill attended our meeting this week, so if you have any questions, again, ask. And I think that's it for me. Let's go ahead and wrap this up with our tithing gratitude statement here in your bulletin. If you don't know it already, divine love as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am prosperous now. So it is.